Hello everyone, it's Mana. Today, I thought I would share a bit about my dating experiences for foreigners. A lot of you have been asking how I felt about dating people from other countries, and honestly, I don't have that many experiences since I live in Japan and most of my dating life has been here. But today, I'm so excited to share what I've learned from those international relationships. They weren't always easy, but they helped me grow, give me new perspectives, and in the end, made me a more open-minded person. I hope this video gives you some insights for your own relationships too. So, let's dive in. So, my first story takes me back to my 30s. I was dating a guy from another Asian country. We met at work and we dated for about 6 months before breaking up. One of the biggest challenges in that relationship was our completely different sense of humor. I know every country has its own cultural background and that shapes what people find funny. Personally, I love people with a good sense of humor, but for some reason, his jokes just didn't click to me. He would tell a joke and I start laughing and I'd visit and they're like, "Hey, what?" I could never quite figure out why he found them so funny, and I definitely didn't laugh as much as he did. In the beginning, we were just curious about each other and we had some nice conversations. But as time went on, the relationship started to feel really awkward. Sometimes you can feel that kind of a gap with anyone, no matter where they're from. Everyone has their own click button when it comes to humor. This time, I've realized that each culture has its own style of humor, and while some click with me and others are harder for me to get into, it's really interesting to see these cultural differences. He came to Japan to study Japanese and for business. The story he shared about his lifestyle back in his country was fascinating, almost unreal to me, and they really broadened my perspective. But being able to share laughs was so much important, even if he was from a wealthy family. So in the end, we broke up. The second story is about a guy from North America. I met him when I was working in the US, and he was the one in charge of teaching me so many things. I really liked his beautiful eyes and his dedication to his work. What attracted me to him the most was his strong, determined energy. He had this will to navigate life no matter what. It made him feel really dependable to me at the time. We also spent time together after work. He took me some amazing Mexican restaurants and they were so good. We taught each other our languages using English, and those moments are a lot of fun. But there was one thing that truly bothered me. I just couldn't handle it when he lay on a bed with shoes on. At first, I tried to ignore it, but it was hard for me to accept because in Japan, we always take off our shoes when we are in the house. I knew it was a cultural difference, so I eventually decided to mention it to him. But he was such a positive guy now. So he just laughed and said, "Haha, don't worry. You're not gonna die over something so small." Yes, it's a small thing, but for me, it was a big deal. As a Japanese woman, that kind of thing really matters to me. Have you ever had something you just couldn't accept no matter what? Sometimes these differences aren't only about culture. They are shaped by how we are raised and the habits we learn from our families. We all grew up in different environments, and in this case, it was simply a difference in habits. But it makes me wonder, can you truly accept a completely different cultural habits for someone you like? Maybe it takes more than just pretty words. In the end, though our relationship gradually faded because of the long distance, plus we didn't have the money and the time to travel and see each other often, I realized that long-distance relationships are really tough, and they need a lot of effort and trust to keep them going. The third story is about a guy from the UK. I met him at my previous workplace. He was actually one of our regular customers. He had such a calm and be kind vibe. At the time, I was a head chef at the restaurant. One day, I spotted him coming in and I made sure to say hi. He had dinner there and we ended up exchanging contact details. After that, we started texting each other from time to time. It seemed like he was always on the move, flying to different countries while we kept in touch. It was 2020, during the pandemic, and messaging with him was truly healing for me. It felt like we were supporting each other through those tough times. Then in 2022, we finally meet up again on the beautiful island and we spent 2 wonderful weeks together. But after our reunion, we had to go our separate ways. I headed back to Japan and he flew to Canada. I missed him so much after those 2 wonderful weeks together on the island. So I hope he might visit me in Japan, but I knew his lifestyle is spontaneous and a bit all over the place. So I took initiative and suggested we plan another trip, asking if we could meet somewhere again. But his responses are vague and I couldn't figure out how he really felt. And then it happened. 7 months after our reunion, he suddenly disappeared. I sent him many messages, but he never replied. That's when I realized I was being ghosted. This situation left me completely confused. It was such a shock and honestly, I was shattered. I kept wondering why he disappeared so suddenly. Some days I blamed myself and the other day, I felt he was in wrong. I went through a tough time for about a year. Have you ever been ghosted by someone you really like? I had never been ghosted until this happened, so I couldn't believe that. Someone so kind who shared such a special time with me and had been texting back and forth for 3 years and more could suddenly disappear right after sending me a sweet message on Valentine's Day. But this experience taught me so much. I realized I still have a lot to learn about the world, people, and different cultures. It made me stronger and more understanding. And in the end, I could accept everything about him. He was kind, cute, funny, and smart. He had so many wonderful qualities, but he also had his own vulnerabilities. Maybe he acted that way because of his own beliefs or because he needed to protect himself. But I still hope to see him again someday somewhere. I would simply smile and say hi. So far, I've shared some of my bitter experiences. We often find ourselves drawn to the differences and feel curious about what it would be like. But in reality, international relationships can bring unique challenges that we need to walk through. If you are interested in someone from another country, remember to accept their culture and respect each other. These things are so important. I also want to keep becoming a more open-minded person. Thank you so much for watching my video. Until then, I would be happy if you hit the subscribe button. See you in the next video. Bye!